So here's the exact curvature of Earth as confirmed by a university. At 1 mile distance, it's 8 inches of curve. At 2 miles distance, it's 32 inches. At 100 miles distance, the curve ought to be over 6,500 feet. That's 1.2 miles of predictable curvature. So a commercial jetliner flying at 500 miles per hour would have to continuously point the nose downwards to stay on the curve. Yet we don't see that happening. Critics will say they can see the curve from out the window of a plane, but that's not true because every video posted with a normal lens shows a flat horizon. And all planes are fitted with a horizon gauge, an attitude indicator on the instrument panel. They use the horizon gauge to line up the plane with a flat horizon. You can't line up the plane with a curved horizon, it doesn't work. So it's possible that pilots and airliners don't know the Earth is flat. They follow a designated flight path just like drivers follow the road network. They keep the plane level just like we keep the car level with a steering wheel. But how many of us have considered the exact curvature? We're told that the Earth spins at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. And that's all they say. They don't tell you any more than that. When you examine this 1,000-mile-an-hour Earth spin theory, it's not believable because there's two options and both fail. One, just the Earth spins, or two, the Earth and the atmosphere spin together. If it's just the ground spinning, then the atmosphere would be travelling so fast it would rip everything to pieces. But if it's the Earth and sky that spin together as one, then when they fire a rocket into space, there's going to be a cut-off point where the atmosphere meets the vacuum of space, followed by a 1,000-mile shift in direction. That's the Earth spin. And that would rip to shreds anything that tries to cross over.
people like you. You wanna be free, but you don't even try to help. You hold the key to the girl up inside yourself. You can't run, you can't lie, you can't hide, you're locked inside. Your time's up, you wasted man, no one would show when you ran.
I know you deceived me, now here's a surprise. I know that you have, 'cause there's magic in my eyes. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. Oh yeah. If you think that I don't know about the little tricks you play, can never see you when deliberately you put things in my way. Well, here's a poke at you, you're gonna choke on it too. You're gonna lose that smile, because all the while I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. You took advantage of my trust in you when I was so far away. I saw you holding lots of other guys, and now you got the nerve to say that you still want me. Well, that suits maybe, but you gotta stand trial, because all the while I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and the Eiffel Tower is all the whole mind to see on clear days. You thought that I would be the crystal ball to see right through the haze. Well, here's a poke at you, you're gonna choke on it too. You're gonna lose that smile, because all the while I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and 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 miles. I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and 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 miles.
Very good.
Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played them all. But I ain't seen nothing like him in any amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. was lead him in, and he just does the rest. He's got crazy flipping fingers, I've never seen him fall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure thinks of me in pinball. We don't get fooled again.